Clubbing is a huge part of the UK's identity.
We are really spoiled in the UK since especially the 90s and this big explosion of youth culture.
We are pretty much like hands down the best in the world.
From your local club with carpeted floors.
Why do you come here? Because it's cheap and cheerful.
I can come out on a night out with £10.
It's the BBC!
To the warehouse rave.
Hearing like jungle and garage and all these amazing UK heritage genres that I may have never heard before on these big speakers, and really like blew my mind.
There's nothing quite like letting loose on the dance floor with your pals at the end of the week. But with record closures across the country.
4 years on from me turning 18, there's now only one club open in my town.
It does feel sad to me that places like Word Project Drum Sheds sell out every single weekend, and there are grassroots venues closing down all the time.
Some argue the UK's nightclub scene is under threat.
Under the current decline in terms of figures, that projection would suggest that by the 31st of the 12th, 2029, we would have no more clubs left.
So, is the UK still clubbing, or is the party over? From the dancehall to the disco, the rock and roll club to the rave, and the rise of massive scale nightclubs.
You just get to see so many great DJs all in the same venue on the same night.
And while nightlife has survived crackdowns before,
the government's considering giving local councils new powers to control acid house parties.
The Hacienda is closing its doors today.
The COVID pandemic brought record closures. And 5 years later, the nighttime industry still hasn't fully recovered. Since 2020, 419 clubs have closed in Britain. That's a third of all clubs.
That was the promise that started Donald Trump's first presidency.
I'm Lucy Woodham, a presenter for BBC News on Social. I've always loved going out, from when I was a student at Cardiff Uni to seeing DJs in sweaty clubs in London. But in the past year, when I've been speaking to young people about going clubbing, the same answers keep cropping up.
With the cost of living, everything's got more expensive, so it was only like a matter of time before the events got a bit more expensive as well. Do you know what I mean? To be honest.
I used to go out like every weekend, and now it's like once or twice a month.
Definitely. Our price is overtaken. Too expensive these days.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's difficult because everything's gone up and it's hard, like the student loans have stayed the same.
But it has got more expensive though, it's like £6 for just a vodka orange.
And club closures in the UK have continued to hit the headlines. So we've headed to the hardest hit area, Yorkshire. 40% of clubs here have shut down since 2020, the most out of any region in Britain. Sheffield is known for its vibrant music scene and nightlife. It's Friday, and some DJs from the University of Sheffield are putting on a club night. They're playing at Sheffield's Hope Works, an iconic underground venue that's seen huge names play, including Bicep and Honey Dijon. Now it's set to close after 13 years.
Yeah, it's
I'm here to chat to the students before their sets to find out what the venue means to them.
Hope Works is closing. It's closing in 2 weeks' time. How do you feel about that?
People have been going here for years. Like, this is like a landmark of Sheffield, like Hopeworks. Like, everyone knows Hopeworks.
It's really important that young independent artists really get to play in these sort of venues, independent venues, because that opportunity basically gave me the launching pad to skyrocket myself, to basically be able to do this and gain the confidence within myself.
I grew up in Kettering, which is a small market town. 4 years on from me turning 18, there's now only one club open in my town.
Really?
Yeah, so in the last 4 years, about 5, 6 of them have closed, and there's now only one open.
It is just sad. It's one less avenue and one less place to go, and like a place where people share like happy memories there. But it's not the end of the underground. Like,
the underground will never die.
No.
Ahead of Hopeworks closing weekend, I'm catching up with the club's owner, Liam O'Shea.
The situation grassroots music's in, we've been dropping like flies.
Sheffield is a really big student city, so how reliant are you on that group of people, and how do you think their clubbing habits have changed, if you think they have?
So many different things have changed in the way that people spend their time. They've got more options to, you know, of what people do with their time. Do they more like go to like a golf bar or something like that? You know, all these different things of how you can spend your time on a night out. People seem more health conscious as well. I think there are trends that kids are doing other things, more health conscious, maybe like The old days of raving are a bit different.
How important is it that grassroots venues like yours stay open?
It's the vital underbelly of everything. It's where young artists and performers get their first go at something. It's where people find themselves. It's where people find their tribe. It's where people have space to develop.
It's so sad, like it's heartbreaking. For seeing firsthand a venue like this just go is crazy.
I'm from Perth. Roadworks is my favourite place. Kind of devastating, that's why I'm all in black today.
I think it really dents the music scene in Sheffield.
Yeah.
This is the best place to come. It's such an important part of Sheffield heritage and nightlife, which makes it the reason a lot of people come to university here.
Look how busy it is, and it's like, why is it closing if it's like this?
The Trade Association for UK Nightlife, the Nighttime Industries Association, has released their report on the state of the industry.
How important are nightclubs to British culture, the economy and the music scene?
They're a British institution, there's no two ways about it. I mean, if you think of the amount of DJs and grassroots electronic sort of acts and have come through it, it's just been phenomenal. You know, we're talking like 30, 40 years of them being inherently part of people's lives.
We know from your own data that there's been a huge drop in nightclubs across Britain since 2020. What are the main factors driving those closures?
A lot of people talk about the misconceptions around people not wanting to go out, but the reality is people can't afford it. The nighttime economy saw a net decline of 2.8% across the board, which, as you can appreciate, is hugely challenging for the sector. We're talking about all nighttime economy businesses. About 7 out of 10 of them are either barely breaking even or losing money. Under the current decline in terms of figures, the projection would suggest that by the 31st of the 12th, 2029, we would have no more clubs left.
And it isn't just independent clubs that have closed. After Yorkshire, Wales has seen the most club closures since 2020. In 2024, the company which owns some of the UK's most well-known club chains, including Prism and Attic, closed 17 venues across the country for good, citing changing student habits. Some of these sites are now so-called party bars, like Barbara's Beer House. I'm here to meet the CEO of Neos, the company running these venues, to find out why he thinks party bars, like this one, might be the future of clubbing.
So we are sat in one of your party bars. Describe to me what they are and what is the concept behind them.
It's just all about fun. It's kind of a crossover between a bar into late night.
How do you think clubbing's changed over the last few years, like people's habits?
I think people want to do different things, and student societies are focusing on how do we do events and activities that don't involve alcohol. And that's one of the benefits of party bars, because we do a lot of stuff early week, like quiz nights, bingo nights, all little things that actually you can go to and not enjoy a drink. So, you know, we know that nationally 18 to 25s are drinking less, but it doesn't mean they don't want to socialise.
Why have you decided to change some of your old Prism sites into party bars rather than keep them as nightclubs?
Larger nightclubs particularly became more difficult to operate for a number of reasons, changing habits, but also the increased cost of operating through the changes we've seen over the last 5 months made it very difficult.
Do you think party bars are more desirable now than nightclubs?
I'd say so, because there's more option. Bars are open 7 days, 7 nights. And at the weekends, some of the bars are open from midday. And I think the big thing for us is people don't want to be dictated when they're socialised to now. If they want to go out at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, they want to go out.
So are young people not going out in clubs as much?
It's not about like feeling rubbish, it's just more of like more self-care and also
More
like
self-care for sure.
We have boys who I don't drink on the team, but I still go out with the team and stuff. It's just like no one's forced to.
Yeah, there is a bit of a shift, I think, like the recent generation. So yeah. I think people now are becoming more and more health conscious, and I think that's one of the main aspects in this.
Sometimes I can just like have a night out and not drink, and I enjoy it just as much.
Yeah, it's actually more fun. No, not more fun. It's sometimes more fun not drinking because then it doesn't go as fast.
A recent study of just over 2,000 18 to 30-year-olds found that nearly 2/3 of people were going out less frequently than the year before, with 68% of people saying the current economic climate had reduced how much they go out. Gen Z are also drinking less. Another survey of 18 to 24-year-olds shows that they continue to be the most sober age group, with 39% of them not drinking alcohol at all. But it doesn't mean that people don't want to go out. Back in Yorkshire, there's one club bucking the trend for this region.
I'm excited because I've actually heard of the club we're going to, the Acapulco, before even coming here. But I can't wait to see it with my own eyes. I think it's going to be good, and I think the best thing about this club is it's going to really remind me of that like hometown club vibe.
I'm in Halifax, home of the Acapulco, also known as the ACA, the UK's oldest club.
Go inside and have a look.
The ACA's been open since 1961, and Simon's been running the place since 1995.
On the whole, I'd say it's quite a loved and cherished place.
Why do you think people love it so much?
Do you know, I think it's the entertainment. I think it's good value for money. I think it's the friendliness of the staff. It feels more like a family type thing. When you go out, you feel safe. You do feel safe.
So Yorkshire has seen the most club closures out of any region in Britain since 2020. Why do you think that is?
Do you know, there's several reasons. Things have changed over the years. I think nightclubs are predominantly known as being very expensive, charging you £10 in and £5 or £10 a drink. Sometimes with false promises, things like that. If you come in tonight, you're going to be quite surprised because everything from 18 to 80 will come in here. Oh, you get straight across the board. And yeah, people will still be in here doing TikToks. In fact, at the beginning of the night, you tend to get people lining the phones up, dancing before people really come in, and just doing their own little TikTok to say, look where I am.
How have you stayed open since 1961? Because this is the oldest club in the UK, right? Like, what's the secret?
I think, honestly, value for money, entertainment, and keeping to your promises. Listen, I think you definitely must come back tonight, and you're going to love it.
It's the BBC!
My first night in Accra, describe to me what it's going to be like.
Mercer, it's for some people and it's not for some people. What is for everyone is that it's cheap.
I can come out with no one and find a group of people.
Yeah.
I can come out on a night out with £10.
I feel safe in here.
This your favourite place to go?
Yeah, I feel safe.
I wanted to speak with some DJs from across the UK about the impact they see closures having on their industry.
I think it's going to be much harder for people to get their foot in the door with all the club closures. I think that's a real shame. We are really spoiled in the UK since especially the 90s and this big explosion of youth culture. And I think it's really unique.
I moved over to the UK from Pakistan at the age of like 12, and my first experience of going to a club was in Stevenage, hearing like jungle and garage and all these amazing UK heritage genres that I may have never heard before on these big speakers, and really like blew my mind. It was a huge formative experience for me.
It's myself, Sherelle, on Six Music. It's a Saturday night, and I'm so happy.
The clubs I first started in as a DJ were quite small ones, just because of the music that I play.
I'm from Doncaster in the north of the UK. The clubs in my hometown growing up were few and far between.
I started my own club night. Would be using my student loan just to book DJs from out of town to come to Guildford and play there because there wasn't really much bass music and garage and grime going on there.
It's such an important thing to have spaces where, you know, you can throw on your first rave, to be able to build a community.
Me and my friends, we used to go out with about 25 quid between three of us and have a great night, and we'd be home at 3 a.m. and all of us had like the time of our lives, and I don't think that's possible anymore.
When I turned 18, I threw my first ever party because I couldn't really afford to always go to parties, so I thought, you know what, why don't I just throw one? And thank you to the guy who let me use his venue because he didn't charge me any high fee, there was no bar spend, I just turned up with my mates, my whole entire college, and we've had the best party of my life.
I guess everything's more expensive. Like, we used to be able to put parties on that sold tickets for £5, and it was like okay for us to make a little bit of money or being able to pay the headliner and make money to book artists, but you can't put parties on for obviously that amount anymore.
Some of my friends' rent got tripled. Like, how are you meant to contend with that? Like, where's the protection against that as a cultural space?
Clubbing is becoming a luxury, and that's just crazy. The fact that it would become a luxury when it isn't, you know, you should be able to listen to music at any time you want. You should be able to enter a club and be with friends at any time you want.
I can appreciate they're not in like 10 Downing Street being like, okay guys, how are we going to save the nightclubs? But when you're investing in nightlife, you're really investing in youth culture.
I had a night, a Shirelle night, which is this, it's a bunch of shows that I put on basically for £10. Originally supposed to be a £5, but then when talking to all of the clubs, it just wasn't possible. I take a loss, the clubs involved, they're doing it for the culture. Wire Club was one of them, and ultimately closed down months later.
There needs to be more of an importance given to these spaces as cultural spaces rather than people just assuming that it's a place that people go to, you know, lose themselves in hedonism.
More needs to be done, and hopefully a lot more people will start putting on DIY, you know, spaces, putting on DIY spaces or having DIY nights.
It's not as enjoyable as it once was, but, you know, once you're in a great rave with great people, it's the last place you want to leave.
Back in Sheffield, there's a venue doing things a bit differently. Gut Level is a queer-led community project which runs inclusive club nights. It's non-profit and it's built on a membership model, with prices starting as low as £2 a year. Around 5,000 people are currently signed up. I've come to speak to founders, Katie and Hannah.
What is Gut Level?
Wanted to create a space that was a DIY space that like put the experiences of queer people and women at the centre.
Yeah, crucial that there's a space in Sheffield, particularly in the city centre, that like prioritises the needs of queer people and particularly like trans people as well, because the environment right now is so hostile. Local stuff as well is really important, and not just like doing a party with like a big headliner driven just to make profit. Like we're kind of like the absolute opposite.
Yeah, we're a not-for-profit space, and I think that's why people like playing here as well. Like some of the bigger names we have want to come back, and we operate a fair pay policy at Gut Level, so no matter if it's your first gig or whether it's you've just played drum sheds the night before, you are going to get paid the same.
Now you don't just do club nights, you also do like film clubs, speed dating, gardening on the roof, you do all sorts. Why is it so important that you offer such like a diverse range of activities in one space?
This place is really like what like a working men's club would have been like, you know, 40 years ago or something, or a youth club or a community space. Like all these places like that did exist and were like real core parts of local community that just got eradicated.
So you have a membership model. How come you decided to do that?
So it starts at £2 a year, and it's become a real core part of our financial model. It's about safety of members. People have to sign up before they come. We can't just get random drunk people off the street. Like I say, this space is inclusive, not exclusive. Anyone can sign up to be a member as long as they agree to the membership agreement.
I think the membership element creates more of a community feel. I've found that like a lot of people come to Gut Level events when they've never been here before, and they'll feel comfortable coming on their own. And like by the end of the night, you'll see that they've like made loads of friends and like they've had a really good time.
It's just the music and the safe space to just dance and not feel judged or afraid, but actually uplifted.
It's great. It's like so intriguing, and the space is beautiful and welcoming, and the drinks are so cheap, and it's because of the membership aspect.
Everyone is like so friendly, like so welcoming. Like you know, everyone has a membership, and you come in and you're like, okay, everyone's cool, everyone's chill.
I rarely come out if it's not Gut Level, so I could probably just be sat in the house listening to a few tunes. But yeah, I literally love coming here. Like, it's just so lovely that I can't stress how nice and inclusive and friendly. It's just a nice vibe.
So the party's not over, but recognising we all have less money in our pocket seems crucial to keeping nightlife accessible. It's clear that people still do want to go out, and venues like Gut Level are just one grassroots look at how the UK's nightlife continues to evolve.
Seeing everyone else like doing DIY stuff, it makes you feel like like it's possible for yourself to do it.
Yeah.
I think clubs have got to diverse a little bit, where you might just do one thing in a night. Now in a nightclub, you probably have to do 4 or 5 different things in a night, one for each hour, just to keep people's attention. And that's what people really like. You want to go out and you want to create memories.
I think the future of clubbing is going to be great in the UK as long as we do what we've been doing for the last 10 years and supporting talent from the ground up.
The future of clubbing in the UK, I think there needs to be more of a responsibility that clubs need to take for the people that they are sort of nurturing in those sort of club spaces.
Hopefully lots of communities come together, lots of DIY things are created, and we do things physically, because we can call stuff out on social media all we want, but if we're not physical about creating these spaces, then nothing will get done.
I don't think the spirit is ever going to die, and I don't think the demand is ever going to die for people to have a good time and for people to create unique new music and test it out on a fat sound system.
I think it's really important that young people have the space to go out and discover things about themselves and learn about who they are, and investing in nightlife is about investing in youth culture.
It does feel sad to me that places like Word Project Drum Sheds sell out every single weekend and there are grassroots venues closing down all the time. I hope that the audiences don't want that kind of experience more than the kind of things we offer here.
I don't have the answer, and just the fact that it's just out of reach and I can't answer you is what keeps me going.
I'm not willing to ever give up on clubbing because it's just part of my life. The fact of the matter is we will rebuild, we will evolve. It might take some time, there may be some casualties, but we're not willing to give up on clubbing as something that is a cultural institution and will be a huge part of the British culture in the future.